Oh, welcome back everyone to another crypto update, a Briscoe crypto update. Sorry you can't see my face today. Today I'm making videos in the back of my car because I'm at an undisclosed location and I'm not allowed to film. So because I've been away so much recently, I wanted to make a few videos, so you're probably going to get quite a few videos in one go in this format, just this website format. Maybe a few quick stock analysis videos, but today we're looking at cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin because Ethereum and Bitcoin have had a bit of a pullback. But let's get into the basics of why I'm in Bitcoin and why I'm in Ethereum right now. I am largely in Bitcoin as a trade. I'm largely in all cryptocurrencies as a trade right now. I do believe in Bitcoin. I have to disclose this every single time because you get loads of crypto idiots in the comments just banging on about how we don't understand crypto. Crypto is a very, very simple thing to understand, guys. I'm very bullish on it in the long term. I have a bit that I'm willing to hold on to, but the trade aspect of Bitcoin right now seems too obvious. It seems really obvious to me. So all I'm saying is hear me out on this trade. If you think I'm talking crap, I'm taking too much risk, then you're probably right. Remember that. Think about your risk. Think about what you know and what you're comfortable with. Do not follow people into stocks and trades blindly. I'm largely focused on this right now rather than stocks. Only for the short term, only into hopefully early 2022, where I hope that this whole trade will be over and I can go back to just waiting long term. But I'm trying this. I'm experimenting with trading to see if it's legitimate. But first, let's get back to the basics of why I'm trading Bitcoin right now. This is the halving cycle chart. This is from Charts BTC on Twitter, an amazing resource for how the Bitcoin halving cycles go and how it's going so far. You can see from the first halving, the price increase all the way up through that first halving in 2012 went up to $1,135. It then had an 80% pullback all the way through the Bitcoin bear cycle up to the second halving. And on the second halving, we went up to 19,000. And since the third halving in May 2020, we've seen quite a considerable rise up to what is now around 60,000, something like that. And the basis of this simple trade that I'm trying to make right now is that history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. So there's a possibility right now, with a possible diminishing returns, that there is going to be more to come from this Bitcoin cycle right now. And if you have looked at this pathway and you've been following this trade from May 2020 like I have, then well done you, because you'll be up quite considerably, and this 10 to 13% pullback that we're having right now is just a drop in the ocean. Well done to you if you've been following this. Maybe there is plenty more to come, but let's not get too excited and let's not think that this is the be all and end all. We will discuss our risk at the moment because risk is really important right now. You know, we've lost 10%. There were people buying Ethereum up here right there and they are down 10% right now and they are panicking. But this correction looks very, very healthy for Ethereum. It needed it. Look how straight up this line is, and any break underneath there just showed a correction. If we get a good repair, there could be a good future for Ethereum right now. But it sat very nicely at this support point at the previous all-time high, so I'm not exactly worried about it right now. But be prepared, because if this pulls back all the way to this support line right here, then we've got a real chance of it breaking through and real breakdown of Ethereum price right here. Very, very possible. There's still a lot to go before I'll go into negative on this trade, but a breakthrough of something like 3,500 or even lower down to the 2,700 mark, breakdowns to that area could indicate that the crypto cycle has gone into a bear market. So you need to be aware of that. Moving on to Bitcoin right now, we're seeing something very, very similar. We've had a massive uptrend right here, and now we have quite a big pullback. But again, we're only sitting on this support. It's got a lot of tests of this support right now. Let's move to the 4-hour chart. There's a big test on this support, and it's very strong support. We've got the breakthrough of the resistance here and a good couple of touches that provide a lot of support. It shows that people aren't willing to give up their Bitcoin right here. Remember, this is all just looking at stupid human behavior. People simply don't want to sell here, and they don't want to buy too much here either. So it could be that Bitcoin trades in this area for a little while. It could also bash down. So we need to really consider this risk. We're simply looking at probabilities of what stupid humans are doing right here, because there's no real logic to what we're looking at here and why Bitcoin's price has gone up so much. We're simply looking at stupid human behavior, and we're trying to predict what the group think is doing by looking at these charts. Now, historically, the blue and the red line are what Bitcoin has done previously and what stupid humans have done when they've got very excited about Bitcoin. And if you've been following this plan all the way along, you will know that this plan has worked perfectly so far. And I mean real perfectly. There's hardly anything about this model which has gone wrong. We see the big rollover in the first large wave of the cycle, and it happens on all three occasions, the white line being this occasion right now here in 2020. And after what I call the big hump, we tend to see these two big waves of movement for Bitcoin. But what's most important about Bitcoin right before these big shoot up moves is they have quite a large V-shaped pullback. And if we look towards Bitcoin right now, if this becomes like a V shape and this is a straight up recovery, that could be a big signal that going forward there's going to be a lot of gains to be made in Bitcoin. Obviously, if it doesn't do this, then it's not always supposed to go this way, and this is I can't stress this enough, guys. This is a risk I'm willing to take on a prophecy that is pretty untested, to be honest with you. We're going off 2 years worth of data. There isn't a lot of data to be looking at right here, but I do know, and what I think is most important, is that a lot of people are looking at this data and trying to follow this. So if everyone's trying to do this, then the stupid human groupthink is all happening, and it's going to be a race to get your money out at the top. Now, my goal here is to maybe trade up to $8,000, maybe $12,000 if Bitcoin allows me to, if the crypto gods allow me to make this trade, and Ethereum does outperform Bitcoin like it has in the past 2 cycles. But this, for me, is a really positive move. Even though it's moved to the negative, it's a really positive move for me to think that, okay, maybe the next bit of this cycle, the next bit of this model is actually following as well. And what we're trying to hit here is we're trying to see if everybody's following this model at the same time and they're all getting excited. And FOMO is still real, guys. FOMO is really out there. Look at Rivian right now. It's up. How much is it up from the start? It's almost doubled in value in like 3 or 4 days. Everyone's trying to find the next Tesla here, and Rivian's it's got like 150 sales or something like that. Made $1 million in revenue or something, and lost $1 billion in earnings. So people are really desperate to make money right now, and that's what this chart is aiming to take advantage of. And we're getting the FOMO starting to set in. Who knew they were going to rename the Staples Center to the Crypto Center, or the Crypto.com Center? This is real setup for that ridiculous FOMO, in my opinion. So I'm giving you a very biased view here, and I need to be very clear. That's a very biased view of how I see the Bitcoin and crypto halving cycles go. I do think that Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is the chart that we need to be looking at when we compare this to the previous halving cycles. To me, so far, the comparisons are pretty damn close, and I'm willing to follow this trade. I'm not following it blindly. I do have some stops in. That's probably against the advice of quite a lot of the hardcore Bitcoiners, but I do have some stops in basically for me to just break even on Bitcoin right now. So they are quite far away. They are an 80% pullback right now. But if we look at the previous cycle peaks, and we are going to consider diminishing returns right now, 39x in the first one, never going to happen again. I really don't think that's going to happen again. 17x in the second one, so maybe 6x, 10x maybe, but that will bring us to around 196,000. I think we're going to be more around 100,000, but I really don't know. And I'm not aiming for any sort of Bitcoin price. I'm aiming for my own trade. I've got my own goal to get out of this trade, and obviously I'm doing this on eToro, so feel free to sign up to eToro through my link in the description below. Just remember that cryptocurrencies are very risky, and you shouldn't be buying into these cryptocurrencies based on something that I'm saying. Do your research, head out, and most importantly, know your risk. Know that this can all go wrong in a second. There could be an 80% pullback in the next 2 weeks. This could be the cycle peak right now. We could have severe diminishing returns on Bitcoin, and this trade has gone completely wrong, and a lot of people will lose their money based on this information. Keep that in mind, but this is a very small 10% pullback. It's nothing in crypto, and the possibility of there being a ridiculous upside in the short term is too tempting for me. I'm not trying to FOMO anyone into this, I promise. This is simply what I'm trying to do, and I must stress to you, this is ridiculously risky. I'm only willing to follow this trade now because I followed Bitcoin through the 2 previous cycles. I've been an avid Bitcoin fan for a very long time, and it's only in this 3rd halving cycle, which is 10 years later, that I've decided that I'm confident enough to get into a trade, and I'm taking as much risk as I am willing to afford right now. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this Bitcoin update. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like, subscribe, and invest.